Hi everyone, good evening. Today's session, we are going to start the ESXi networking. So ESXi networking, yesterday we already discussed how to install the ESXi server and ESXi server pre-installation steps, installation process and post-installation steps. And during our ESXi host navigation from the vSphere host client, we verified that there is one of the specific tab for the ESXi host, which is networking. So before we start learning the ESXi host networking, in ESXi host networking, the main key concept is it's a virtual switch. So before we going to start the virtual switch concept, first we can understand the basic networking. If we have an idea on basic networking, it's a pretty simple to understand the ESXi host networking. Okay, so we'll see the today's agenda. Okay, today's agenda is basic networking concepts and networking real-time scenarios we will discuss. And once we familiar with the first two concepts, it's easy to understand the ESXi host networking. And ESXi host networking, the first primary concept is standard virtual switch. So we can also say vSphere standard switch, that vSphere standard switch architecture also we can observe. And basic physical networking lab. So first we'll observe the normal, how is the normal physical networking concepts. And once we are familiar, we'll go to the lab for the ESXi host networking lab. Okay. So let's start with the basic networking. See, in our basic networking concepts, before going for a networking, first understand what is network. Network is nothing but a intercommunication of two or more devices is called a network. Here, devices means device can be any of the system. That system can be a laptop, desktop, server, either physical server or ESXi server. Any device. Interconnection between two or more devices is called network. Networking means the communication between two or more interconnected devices is called networking. Suppose when in our office environment we have a 10 systems, all the 10 systems are connected in the network. Either it is in a wired network or wireless network, whatever the network it is. When we have a communication established between the all the systems, that is called networking. Okay, and we can establish the connectivity between devices with help of the switch or wireless access point. Wireless access point in short form we can call WAP devices, WAP, WAP devices for data communications. So I given the example what is our network devices and normal system devices. So those devices are, we can call it as workstation. It can be a laptop, desktop, server. Okay, and the server means it can be physical server, virtual server, or ESXi server, anything. And network devices, we have so many network devices. I just written few of the important network devices, which are switch, a router, and wireless access point. These are all the networking devices. In addition, we also have some other devices like mobile. Even nowadays, we can find, we can access from our mobile. We are connecting to anywhere in the network. So mobile also one of the networking device. And similarly for tabs and also the printers, scanners, etc. So this is the example for the networking devices. So let's move on to next slide. Okay, this is a networking devices. Just for our visually we can see, understand how it is communication. Suppose if you see the first row, the networking devices, I just put the home. That means in our home networking devices I mentioned in the first row. The second row refers the office networking devices. Okay, normally in our home we are using the workstation. It can be a laptop or desktops, and also the printer also we can use in our home systems. And printers normally in the home system printer sizes are small. Suppose when it comes to the office, the printer sizes are not like a home printer, it will be a big size of printers. Okay, and only difference is the home printers we can print maximum A4 size paper. When it comes to the office printers, not only A4, we can also print the A3 size papers also. Okay, big size of papers, printers also, prints also we can do it from the office printers. And there's some other home networking devices, tab and also the mobiles. You can use either Android or iPhone, any kind of mobile. And we nowadays we are not only the normal workstation like desktop or laptop, we also have some of the all-in-one systems. I given one of the all-in-one system, Apple iMac. It looks like a monitor only, but this is also one of the all-in-one system. This system consists of all the motherboard, CPU, memory, disk, and NIC card. So any type of home device, if you want to connect, either you can use two types of network devices. If you see the green color I just highlighted, either you can use wireless access point. This is a wireless access point. This is one of the example for how the wireless access point looks like. Okay, and or you can connect to the wireless access point, or you can use home based also. You can use switches, small switches. Normally the switches are looks like this box. In this switch, there is a different types of port switches. We can use 8 port switch, 16 port switch, 32 port switch, and so on. Suppose in your home, normally we will not purchase a maximum port switch. We will purchase a small mini port switch like 4 port switch. If you have 4 port switch, you can connect to your desktop and also printer and your desktop PCs. You can connect to the switch. Suppose if you don't want to use the switch, physical switch, you can also use the another option is wireless access point. Even nowadays, if you use a internet connection, we are using a wireless access point to get the internet connection to entire our home devices. Okay, suppose if I want to see from a workstation device, if I want to see how we communicating to wireless access point, you can just open your command prompt and type the IP config. You will find your wireless access point details. Okay, just connecting to the one of our lab system. If you want to see the your current system, what is IP address and all, we can verify in a multiple ways. You can verify from graphical method. We'll verify one by one. First, the graphical method. See in the right side corner in your system, you will find your wireless access point. See it is showing the internet access, and this is a wireless access point connectivity connection status name. Just double click this one. Open the network and internet settings. We'll find the Wi-Fi wireless access point details. Okay. So from this wireless access point details, just scroll down, you will find the wireless access point details also. This is the Wi-Fi and also the wireless access point device name information. And also in the below, you will find the IP address. What is IP address assigned for this Wi-Fi, and also the DNS IP details you can find. Okay, this is one method to verify the Wi-Fi details. And another method is just open the command prompt and type the IP address, ipconfig. When you type ipconfig, you'll find some of the network details. So let me expand some more. Okay. See here, you will find wireless access network Wi-Fi. So for this Wi-Fi, we have normally two types of IP address, IP version 4 and IP version 6. So still my system is using IP version 4. This is IP version 4 IP address, 192.168.10.123. Okay. So this is the way we can verify the wireless access point details. Okay. So normally the home systems will use the wireless access point. Some scenarios we may also chance to use the physical switches. When it comes to the office network normally workstation means you can use either a desktop or you can use a laptop. There will be a n number of workstations. All the workstations you can connect to the switches or you can connect to the wireless access point. But normally in the uh, office environment, they recommend to maintain the two network. One network should be LAN via switches we can connect, and another network is wireless access point. Why we need to maintain the two networks in the office means, in case of any of the LAN connection disconnected or wireless access point having some faulty, there should be no impact to your office network. So normally the recommendation in the office is they should maintain the two types of devices. They maintain the both LAN connection as well as wireless connection. And not only for the workstation, if you want to connect from your workstation, if you want to give a printer, if you want to give a print, all the printers also configured with the IP address. This printers also accessible via either a LAN connection or it will accessible from a wireless connection. Okay. And there is another advanced concept in our networking that is called router. I will explain in detail in the next slides. Okay. And also the in our office environment, we also have a production servers. Just in the right side, I mentioned the servers mini sub rack. In that rack, we have a multiple servers. Even the all the servers, for the servers, it's not recommended to connect to wireless access point. Servers, we always recommend to connect to the physical switches. So that is the reason the green line connectivity status from all the servers, it's connected to the switch. This switch have it is showing us 6 ports, but it's an example I just give showing us 6 ports. But normally, so if we have a 10 ESXi boxes or 10 physical servers, you can count each server how many ports. For example, for each ESXi host, if you are using a six network cards. For all 6 network cards, 6 into 10 ESX servers, 60 ports. So to connect your all the 60 port, we need to maintain a 60 port physical switches. So 60 port physical switch means you have to purchase a high configured network switches. So based on your ports count, you can purchase the respective network switches. Okay, that switches also there is a multiple vendors. Either you can buy a Cisco networks, Cisco switches, or you can use any of the third-party vendors. For example, Aruba switches also you can use to connect the all your physical servers as well as your ESXi servers. Okay, so remember to connect the multiple devices, we need a networking device. That device called switches. And suppose if I want to connect from my office network to any of the remote site, that remote site can be either any of the branch offices, or you can connect from your on-premises network to cloud also you can connect. So the cloud icon also I just mentioned here. So in order to connect to the cloud, obviously we will not use a switches, we'll use a wireless access only. So it's nothing but a wide area network. While accessing from office network to cloud, that is a wide area network. If you are accessing within the office network, that is nothing but a local area network. Okay, clear? So hope you visually feel what is the networking devices in the home network and also the office network. So network means interconnection between two or more devices. Networking means intercommunication between two or more devices. Now types of network. There will be so many types of networks like PAN, LAN, MAN, WAN, but nowadays most popular used networks are LAN and WAN. Okay, PAN means normally it's a personal area network. The home network we call it as a personal area network. But in the office infrastructure, if you are using a on-premises, we call it as a local area network. The definition for the local area network are used to connect interconnection of systems and other networking devices that are used close together in a limited area such as a floor of a building or an office towers itself or within on premises. Okay, that on premises should be within a floor or within your building block or within your building block multiple levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, any floor you can consider, or the entire office tower. So that is nothing but a local area network. And the next definition is WAN, wide area network. Wide area network which connects two or more LANs present at different geographical locations. For example, my current system is my office is present in Hyderabad location. I want to connect from Hyderabad location to my remote branch offices. My remote branches can be in a Pune, Mumbai, or it can be in a US. We can also deploy in any of the other countries as well, like Singapore, United States of America or North America, South America, wherever you want, we have the branch offices. If you are trying to communicate from one location to another remote location, that is nothing but a wide area network. That is the reason the definition they mentioned that wide area network which connects two or more LANs present at a different geographical location. In short form, we call it as geolocations. Geolocations mean any of the remote location. So clear? And now let's understand the basic requirements to form a network. In order to form a network, we need to require a minimum requirements is network adapters. Every system must have a network adapter and also the media. Media means to communicate between one system to another system. Either you can connect through LAN connection, that means you need any of the cable or wire, or you can also connect using wireless connection. And the networking device, yes, we need a networking device switch. Or similarly, we also have some other networking devices like a router, wireless access point, firewall. And in order to communicate between one system to another system, we require one language to communicate from source to destination or vice versa. For the language between all the networking device, the language is protocols. The protocol means the set of rules used for communication between source and destination and vice versa. So I given some of the examples for the protocol. There will be plenty of protocols in network. One of the protocol is internet protocol. Internet protocol means even when we want to access our system, our system must have a IP address. IP address, the name itself says internet protocol address. So that means our system local IP address is using the protocol IP. And also that there is another protocols like TCP, transmission control protocol, and UDP. UDP also user datagram protocol, and HTTP hypertext transfer protocol, FTP file transfer protocol. Each protocol have some purpose to use the each protocol. Okay, SSH, yesterday we tested the SSH secure shell. Secure shell normally we use to connect the either a Linux system. If you want to connect via command line, we'll use SSH protocol. Similarly to if you want to access the ESX host via command line, we can use the protocol SSH. SSH means secure shell. And same way for the messaging communication purpose, we'll use SMS. SMS means short message service. Okay. And also we required a IP address. IP address means in internet protocol address. Address here it's a similar like a our home address. Even our home address is like a unique address only. Same way every system have a unique identification address. But this address are divided into two types of IP address. One is IP version 4 and another one is IP version 6. Now let's these all the 5 points we'll just elaborate one by one. We'll start with the network adapter first. So network adapter, when we select the network adapter, it's how the network adapter looks like is in the right side diagram. You can see this is the network adapter. Okay, network adapter is the interface between the system and the network. Even if you want to connect from your system to, if you want to connect to the printer, we need a LAN code. From the LAN code only we can connect to the printer. So from LAN code, how we connect to printer is we need to connect to the cable. Either you can connect through cable or you can connect through wireless access point. Like Wi-Fi also you can connect. And it is a network interface card. We can also call it as LAN card, or we can call it as Ethernet card or network adapter. Any name, it's the same meaning. Don't confuse. NIC, some may use network adapter, some may use Ethernet card, some may use LAN card. So these names and all where we can see, I will show you. And also network interface card has a unique 48-bit addressing. This 48-bit addressing is also called it as MAC address. MAC full form is media access control. This MAC address, in other words, we can also say physical address or hardware address. I will show you how to verify the MAC address as well. And the 48-bit MAC address is represented as 12 decimal digits. So I given the example for the how the MAC address is defined. Okay, and NICs are available in different speeds. When you purchase the any NIC for your desktop PC or server, there is a different type speeds of NICs. That speeds are like 100 Mbps, 1000 Mbps. 1000 Mbps means it's equivalent to 1 Gbps, 10 Gbps, and so on. Based on your requirement, you can use the specific feeder speed of network cards. Okay, I will show you how to verify the network speed also. And NIC has the interface called, that interface name is RJ45. RJ full form is registered jog connector. So in the right side diagram, if you see, there is a one RJ45 port. Okay, so this port is needed to insert the LAN cable. Okay, so I will quickly connect to our workstation and will verify the network card information. So we'll verify in the both ways, command line and also the graphical method. So for graphical method, I'll just press the run command. In our run command, to connect to the network connections, command is ncpa.cpl to open the network connections. When you type that command, you will find how many networks are available in your system. So let's verify one by one. My first connection is shows that Bluetooth network connection, and second one is my LAN connection. If I select the cursor here, you will see the name is Intel Ethernet connection. So either Ethernet connection, network interface card, all the names are same. Okay. And if I select the another network card, it is showing as VMware Virtual Ethernet Adapter. This Ethernet adapter, it will comes when we install a VMware workstation on our system. So if you see the left side icon, we already installed VMware workstation. When we install VMware workstation, it will create these two adapters. One is VMnet 1, another one is VMnet 8. Okay, this is a VMware network adapter. So, but our local system physical adapter is we have only one network adapter. Okay, and for wireless connection, we also have another network adapter. It is Wi-Fi. Okay, you can when I select here, you will find Intel Wi-Fi adapter. Okay, so this is one method to verify from the graphical, and also there are another method is you can type the command devmgmt.msc device management Microsoft console. When you type device management command, it will open a device management console. From this console also you can find the adapters information, physical, how many physical adapters we have. So here, if you see all the hardware information you are finding, all your computer devices information, Bluetooth, computer, disk drive, disk adapter, firmware and all. When you just scroll, if you observe here monitor, the below one is network adapter. So network adapter means it consists of network interface card, whatever the adapters are connected to our system, all adapters information you will find here. If you see here, I have so many WAN network. WAN means wide area network. These are all the Wi-Fi's I connected when I'm going to branch offices and some other remote locations. So all the information is showing here, and also the VMware workstation also have two NICs. My actual physical NIC card is this is the physical NIC card, Intel Ethernet connection. Okay. So this is the way we can verify in the graphical mode where we can see the device adapters. Either you can go to the network connections and verify your network adapters, or you can go to the device manager. For example, if I want to open the same information from command line. So command line means just open the command prompt. When you open the command prompt, just type this is a PowerShell. So either you can open from PowerShell or a normal command, anything you can open. So let me create a desktop shortcut for command cmd.exe. I just created a desktop shortcut for command. So now you can type the command to verify your network connections. ipconfig. When we type the ipconfig, you will find all your network connections details. See here, when I type the ipconfig command, we'll find the Ethernet adapter 1 for one adapter. Similarly, wireless connections also it is showing wireless adapter connection 10, Ethernet adapter, and also the VMware network adapters and wireless. All the connection information you will find when you type the command ipconfig. For example, when we plan to do any changes on our system, if you want to save all this detail, there is another command to save the information. Let me show you how we can save this information. If you want to save these details, you can just type the command ipconfig space, and you can press greater than symbol, and you can save wherever you want. For example, I'm saving to the C drive temp, and I'm copying the our local network information. So let put the name, any name you want. And the file name is network.txt, and or else network information dot text. Text file extension is .txt. So now press enter. It says that system cannot find the path. That means we given the path for C drive temp. Let me see there is a temp folder is created or not. If there is no temp folder, we'll create the temp folder. TEMP. Okay. When we create temp folder, now you can test the same command again. ipconfig, press enter. So when we press enter, once the command execution is completed, you can go to the cedar temp path and you will find your network information in a notepad. This is the way we can save our network information to our local system. So open this network info text, you will find all the information in a text format. So hope you have an idea how to verify the network information in command line method and also the graphical method. And also in the network, in this slide, we also observed another point is network has a unique 48-bit address, MAC address. So to verify your MAC address, again go to our system, and this MAC address also will verify in the two methods. We'll verify from the graphical method first, ncpa.cpl, and right click your Ethernet adapter, go to the status or properties, anything you can choose. Suppose if I select the status. In this status, you can just click on details. You will find the physical address information. This physical address is nothing but a MAC address. Okay, what is the my physical address is showing? It ends with B09B. These numbers are a hexadecimal numbers. It's a 48-bit addressing. Okay, this is one method to verify the our local network adapters physical address. Or else another way is, just now we exported the IP config information. Just open the IP config information and verify for specific network adapter what is the address. See, our address is this is our local physical network card. So we need to check for a local physical network adapter. So where is the network adapter? This is virtual adapter. This is also wireless. This is also virtual wireless. Let's go up. See, when we type the ipconfig command, it's not showing the MAC address. So in order to show the full information when we type the IP address, we can need to type the one more ipconfig command. Like, you can just type the same command ipconfig and type slash and all. When we type ipconfig space slash all, it will provide you some more additional information. So remember this command ipconfig space slash all. So when I type this command, press enter. Now you can see the some additional information. Now we'll go to our physical Ethernet adapter. See, this is our physical Ethernet adapter. Under physical Ethernet adapter, you can see the network adapter description. It's internal Ethernet connection, and the physical address is, you will find the physical address. See, it ends with a B0-9B. Even when you see from the graphical also, it shows the same MAC address. Okay. This is the way we can identify the MAC address. So this MAC address is unique for every system. Same like how our identification, we have a unique name and the unique PIN numbers kind of thing, like a PAN card or any identification cards we have, right? The same way our systems also have a unique MAC address. We cannot find this MAC address for anywhere in the world. It's unique for this adapter. So I will also show you another command how to verify the MAC address. Another command is, let me clear the screen. Just type CLS to clear the screen. And another command to verify the MAC address is, just type the command get MAC. When you type get MAC, you will find the MAC address. Suppose if you want to verify from the Linux, Solaris or Mac systems, you can use the command ifconfig. Instead of ipconfig, you can type ifconfig. Okay, and in order to get the MAC address, this is the way we can identify the MAC address. Okay, MAC address means physical address. It is showing the MAC address information. Clear? So we verified the our network card adapter, where we can verify the network cards, and we also verify the MAC address, how we can find a MAC address information on a local system. The same information we can also find from a virtual machines also. Even every virtual machine have in it, normally for physical system we call it as a physical adapter, but physical adapter, or we call it as Ethernet card, LAN card, network card, anything we can call. But when it comes to the virtual machine, the only thing you can just put the V in front of that name. So instead of calling the NIC, we are calling as VMNIC or VNIC. VNIC means virtual network interface card, or we can call it as VMNIC, virtual machine NIC card. Okay, that is only the difference. The concept is same like a physical networking. Suppose if you want to verify the same network information on our virtual machine, just to open our VMware workstation. Let's power on our virtual machines. I'm powering on our AD system, ESX system, and also our both ESX servers. Once it's powered on, we can show you, we can verify the network card and MAC addresses also here in our virtual environment. So right click the ADVM, go to the edit settings. See, we can see the network adapter here also. Okay, you can find network adapter from the virtual machine edit settings. So it may take a while to boot up. So in the meantime, we'll discuss the another point. So we observed the network adapter, MAC address, and the MAC address we can also call it as physical address, and also the RJ45 jog. This jog is like even in our laptop also we have a RJ45 jog. This is the looks like how the RJ45 jog. Okay, so this network card normally we can insert in a PCA slots. PCA means peripheral component interconnect. This card need to be inserted on a PCA slot. Suppose in our laptop, this network card by default it's inserted in a motherboard itself. Okay, and the speed. The speed is here I mentioned as 10 Gbps. We'll just verify what is our current network speed to our lab system. And to verify the speed, just go to the network connections, ncpa.cpl. Select your network status. We'll see what is the speed for our network. The speed for our network is 1.0 Gbps. That means 1 Gbps speed we have. Okay. So same information, even in the details, we'll find physical address, speed information we are not getting here, only from this widget only. Under Ethernet status, we'll find the speed. Okay. So same thing we'll observe from our virtual machine also. Let's log into the virtual machine. Just close all these widgets. Let me create a command shortcut. Okay, when you type ncpa.cpl, so we'll have only one network connection for this virtual machine. Okay, just right click this this network connection, network card, go to the status. We'll see the speed for the virtual machine also same. Normally, whatever the speed we have for the physical system, the same speed will be shared to the virtual machine. So, but in the our home system, 1 Gbps is fine. But when it comes to the servers, normally they will use minimally 10 Gbps speed or more than 10 Gbps speed. They will not use the 1 Gbps because servers are accessed by multiple users. So the speed should be more than 1 Gbps. And even virtual machine physical address also you can verify from here. The same like physical server, virtual machine also have a physical address, and also we have the IP address information. But the only difference is adapter is a virtual adapter. That one we can verify from device management. When we go to the device management, expand the network adapters, see it is showing Intel gigabit network connection. When we go to the properties, the product vendor, it is showing Intel property, Intel Corporation, because our physical system is Intel, the same network card is virtually shared to the virtual machine also. Okay. And the IP config also you can type and see all the information. When we type IP config, we have only one Ethernet. That one Ethernet connection it is showing. But when I connect to my local system have some other connections like Wi-Fi connection also it has, and VMware network adapters also it has. Okay. And if you want to learn more about the IP config command, just type the IP config and space slash question mark. When you type slash question mark, you will find the help for the IP config. Okay, this is the help information for the IP config command. Even you can learn some other syntaxes information from here. They given the clear syntax how to use this command. Okay. And quickly they also given the example. Just now we use these first two commands, ipconfig command to show the information, and ipconfig all should show detailed information, And suppose if you want to type ipconfig /renew. Renew means it will renew the all adapters. Normally this command recommended to use when we are using a DHCP IP. DHCP IP means dynamic host configuration protocol IP. During that scenario only we'll recommend to assign this command. When you are assigning a static IP, this command is not recommended to run. Okay. And also when you renew your IP address, if you want to release that new IP address, again there is a command to release the IP address. Okay. And also the all compartments, if you want to see all your compartment IP information also, you will find ipconfig /all compartments. Suppose when I type ipconfig /all, we are getting the so much information, all the host information, what is our domain, and also the Ethernet card information. If you want to find, I don't want all this information, I just want to find only my IP address details. That is a scenario. We can type the command ipconfig space, you can use pipe symbol find, and you can type the mode IP. We want to see the only this IP address. So this IP address, what is the first letter is capital IP version 4. So you can type the same one here, V4 and quotations close, press enter. When you type this one, you will find the only the IP here a typo. Sorry for the typo. Let me type the command correctly. ipconfig space pipe symbol find and IPv4. When we type the find command, we'll find only the IP address. It won't show you the all the other information. Okay. This is also one of the command normally we'll use during the production scenarios. We just want to find all the available IPs on this system. Just type pipe symbol find, you give the IPv4. Same thing even on our local system also you can test. But my local system already have multiple adapters are connected. We'll test what is the information it will give. ipconfig space pipe symbol find, and you can type IPv4. It will show, see this system have a 4 IP addresses. Okay, suppose I want to see my current host name, type the host name. My host name is Intel NUC host name. And also if I want to see the date and time for today from via command line, you can type date and time /t. So you'll see the date and time. Okay, it is showing the today's date and also the Singapore time. Okay, so let's back to the another point. So we observed the network adapter, MAC address, and also the networking speed and RJ45. This is only the physical connection. So physically we can see this is the RJ45 port. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So media, we have a two types of media. Either we can use cables or we can use wireless connection. So here I'm trying to show you most important cables. We have a two types of cables. One is category 5. This category 5 data transmission rate is 100 Mbps. If you are using a Cat 5 cable, that Cat 5 cable maximum speed, it supports up to 100 Mbps speed, okay, megabits per second. And the purpose of Cat 5 is fast Ethernet connection. And also the connector is as usual, we are using a registered jog 45 port. Okay, and also we have another Cat 5 cable. That Cat 5 cable name is category 6. This data transmission rate is 1 Gbps, and the purpose is gigabit Ethernet connection. And the connection is again we need a physical adapter, that is RJ45 port. Okay, RJ45 port is the connector to access to connect to our Cat 6 cables. Okay, I given just two examples. Similarly, in our real-time scenario, they will use some high configuration cables to connect our servers. Okay. And then coming to networking devices, just now we discussed how the networking devices looks like. So now we'll just talk about the definitions for the networking devices. For example, switch. So switch is it's a hardware device that centralized communication between wired devices connected within a LAN. So whatever the connection we established from this switch to our system, the same only we have a communication from the wired device within a LAN. Normally in our real-time scenarios, suppose in our building block we have 100 systems. For 100 systems, if we want to establish a network connection, we cannot use all 100 systems with a LAN cables. The better communication method is to establish a communication between all your 100 systems. These 100 systems can be a laptop or can be a desktop PC. Any system you can use in your office environment. All this workstation, in order to communicate all these connections, we have to use a multiple network switches. Normally, if you are using a 32 port switch, if you are using 32 port switch for 100 systems, we need to procure a minimally 4 network switches. If you purchase your 4 network switches, all these 4 network switches will support it to manage the all your 100 workstations. Okay, that is called a switch. And wireless access point. Normally, wireless access point, we are using the name itself. It says wireless only. So it is also have some radius. Within the radius only, it will work. Uh, it's also a hardware device, centralized communication between wireless and wired devices within a LAN. So within even the WAP also have some of the ports. If you observe that in the right side diagram, I given the actually this is the device. The back side of the device, we also have a few network ports. Either you can connect to your these ports or you can access wireless connection using the WAP device. Okay. Now come to the router. Router means it is a device which enable communication between two or more different logical networks. Different logical network means normally suppose in our office we have a 5 floors office. 5 floor means first floor, second floor, third floor, and fifth floor. All these 5 floors, let's think about each floor we have 100 workstations. All these 100 workstations, in order to communicate all your 100 workstations, all your 500 workstation, we need a networking devices, which is switch and wireless access point. Both we are using in a office environment. So for switches, we roughly need average 25 switches we need. For each floor, minimally 5 virtual switches, and each floor 555, we have totally 25 physical switches are needed. This is within our office communication. For example, our office is in a Hyderabad location, and our within the Hyderabad, we established our network connection. Now, I am planning to connect from my Hyderabad branch to, I want to connect to my remote branch. Let's say my remote branch is running in a Warangal location. So in order to access the Warangal location systems, to establish the communication from one branch to another branch, the only requirement is we need a router. So this router should be configured at the both branches. One router should be configured at the Hyderabad branch, and another router should be configured at the remote branch, which is the one example location is Warangal. So in the Warangal branch location, you will place the router. These two routers will allows you to communicate. So that point only we covered here. Router also a device which enable communication between two or more different logical networks. So this different logical network can be a within a city or uh, different cities or different states, wherever it is, from one location or one branch to a remote branch. Anywhere, if you want to establish the connection, not only network device switch, we also need a additional network device which is called a router. Clear? And we also have another network device. This network device name is firewall. This firewall is a device which protect the network from unauthorized access. Normally in our office environment, to for security reasons, we need to use a firewall devices. That firewall also one of the physical device. This physical device purpose is while login to your system, this if you are have a official office account ID, it will allows you to log in. If you are trying to log in with the incorrect ID, it clearly says that it's an unauthorized access. And also there is some set of protocols and security policies we can configure on your firewall level. If you are trying to access from a secure protocol, it will allow. If you are accessing from a unsecure protocol, it says that your connection is denied. So one example for the secure protocol and a non-secure protocol is HTTP. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is a normal web page connections we use. Suppose you want to connect to your web page with secure access, that the protocol name is HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. So normally the office environments, we always recommend to use the secure connection protocols only. It's not recommended to use normal port connections, normal protocols. Okay, so this is the basics of networking devices. But when comes to your virtual networking, in our physical networking, we have this many devices: physical switch, physical wireless access point, physical router, and firewall. When comes to our ESXi networking and virtualization, even in the virtualization, in our ESXi layer, we have the concept called vSwitch. vSwitch means virtual switch. In our physical switch, even if you see in the right side diagram, there are multiple ports on this switch. This switch have a roughly 6 ports are available here. On top 3 ports and below are the 3 ports. So 3 plus 3, 6 port switch. And also here also there is some additional ports. Here 4. So 6 plus 4, totally 10. That means this diagram shows that this switch has a 10 port switch. So these 10 ports are like a physical ports, and in order to establish the communication, we need to connect a LAN cables. That LAN cable can be either category 5 cable you can connect, or category 6 you can connect, or you can use any of the other high configuration cables also we can connect to establish the connection. But when it comes to the virtualization, there is no physical device. VMware introduced the concept called virtual switch. This virtual switch is also same like a how we created a virtual machine. Virtual machine means it is a software generated machine. Same way virtual switch also, it is a software generated switch. But which software we are using to create a vSwitch? We are using the software called ESXi server. So using ESXi server, it will allows you to create not only the virtual machine, we can also create a virtual switches. This virtual switch purpose is to come in order to communicate between all your virtual machine, and also from communication between virtual machine to any of physical server, either within the ESX or external ESX. All this communication we can establish using virtual switch. Okay, the more information on virtual switch we can understand easily while we are performing the lab. So let me connect to the our lab system. Okay, so this is our Windows system. Let's see our hosts are up. ESX1 is up, and ESX1 IP address is 71, and ESX2 IP address is 72. We'll try to access the both ESX host one by one. So when we open any browser, so I'm using the Google Chrome, and not only Chrome, you can use any type of browser to access our ESX. But the only thing, while accessing the ESX host, it clearly says we need to use HTTPS protocol. So Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. You can type either host name or IP address. So let me type our first ESXi IP address, HTTPS colon slash slash, and our IP address 192.168.10.71. When we type this ESX host IP address, press enter, it will launch our ESX host homepage. And same way, open the another tab and type the another ESX host homepage, 192.168.10.72. See, the first one is showing a site cannot be reached. Okay, it's refreshed and connected now. And same way, second one also, it's taking a time to load. So this is our ESXi host, VMware host client. So we connected to our ESXi host client now. And 72 also going to connect. Click advance, proceed. So 72 also connected. So my first tab is ESX1 and second tab is ESX2. If I want to manage 2 hosts in a single console, we require a vCenter server, but at present we haven't installed the vCenter server. So now let me connect my ESX1 first. Enter the root and password. And same way the second ESXi host, root. So 2 ESXi hosts are connected. When we select the ESXi host, yesterday we observed all the navigations. When we select the host right side, what is the tabs and options are available, we observed, and we verified the manage tab, what is the features and what is each tab we discussed yesterday session, and also monitor also we discussed, and virtual machine we created one test VM also yesterday, and just drill up and we also verified that storage details yesterday. We created one local data store. And also the additional storage concepts we'll discuss after ESX networking concept. Okay. Now it's the time to start the networking concept. When we select the ESXi host networking, in the right pane, you will find there are some options are available. These options are, we haven't created manually. When we install a ESX server, by default, it created a two connections. But these two connections represents two port group. In the right side, when we select the name, we have a active ports information, VLAN ID, and also we have a type. The type is standard port group. So we have a two standard port groups. This is running on a vSwitch. Just now we discussed the definition of vSwitch switch, that is a physical switch. But when comes to the ESX server, the concept is same, but only thing is in front of switch, the letter is added. It is a V. So the full form for a vSwitch is virtual switch. So the first normally default, when we install the ESXi box, it's created the switch. The first switch name is vSwitch 0. Suppose if you want to create additional switches, we can create the additional switches. In order to create the additional switches, in the right side, we can see the multiple tabs. One of the tab name is virtual switch. So select the virtual switch. You can see there is a virtual switch 0. So if I want to create the additional switch, just click on add standard virtual switch, and you can mention your switch name. So we'll follow the sequence. We'll type the second switch name is vSwitch 1. So when I type the vSwitch 1, the name is vSwitch 1, and MTU means maximum transfers unit. It's a 1500. You can use the default one. When I expand the some other options, link discovery. So it says that listen, mode is listen and protocol. Just now we discussed, in order to establish a communication, any of the communication, net, basic requirements to form a network communication is we require a protocol. Okay, and also networking device also required. We already observed the vSwitch just now, and also required a network card and LAN communication. Let's go back to our ESX system. We'll see the protocol. Which protocol is using? The protocol name is CDP protocol. CDP means Cisco Discovery Protocol. Okay, when you scroll down, there is a security option. Let's expand the security. We'll find it, there is a 3 security policies. These 3 security policies are default for every virtual switch. Suppose I'm quickly cancel this option and verify on a existing switch. Select the existing switch. Even in the existing switch, go to the edit settings, expand the security, you'll find the same features. Promiscuous mode, MAC address changes, and 4G transmit. These 3 are the important points. Most of the interviews, they will ask what is the vSwitch default security policies. This is the default security policies, and always default security policies in a rejected state. Okay. And there is another additional options, which is the NIC teaming. NIC teaming, the name itself you can find. NIC means you know now. It's a network interface card. For that network interface card, you can do the teaming. Teaming is nothing but a grouping of multiple NICs. So when we group a multiple NICs, the purpose of grouping multiple NICs is, in case of one network card is down, the connection, there is no impact to your production ESXi host and virtual machine. It will go the communication through the another available NIC. Okay. So these all options we'll discuss one by one. Okay. Let's verify the switch creation again. Go to the networking, right side, go to the vSwitches tab and select add standard virtual switch. So click on add standard virtual switch. You will enter your vSwitch name, vSwitch 1, and the MTU default value, no need to modify. And the link discovery, all you can just leave it to default options, no need to modify. Click on add. When we click on add, see the vSwitch is created. So the name of this type of this switch is standard vSwitch, standard virtual switch. Similarly, you can create a multiple switches, and how many switches we can create, that maximum information we can find from a VMware configuration maximum guide. So that information in our other session, we discussed how we can verify the maximum communications. For example, just open browser, go to the vmware.com and documentation site. we'll find the configuration maximums. Go to the resources, technical documentation. When you expand the ESX, you will find the configuration maximums. When we click configuration maximum, select the ESXi host network, you will find each ESXi host how many vSwitches it's supported. So select product is, see there are so many VMware products, but today we are discussing the vSphere. So select vSphere and we need to verify the vSwitch information. So vSwitch information under the host maximum. So select the host maximum and click on view limits. In the right side, you will find the configuration information. Just to scroll down, you will find the how many maximums virtual switches we can create on each ESX. Here, excuse me. Here it is showing that ESX host maximum. In bracket, it is showing as networking maximum. Suppose the above points are all are related to the storage maximum. This is the memory maximum, and this is the compute maximum. And also we have a some miscellaneous virtual machine maximum. Okay, we are focusing on the networking maximum now. Okay, when we select the networking maximum, we'll see how many network cards we can add for a single ESXi box. One ESX host, it supports, suppose your network card speed is 1 Gbps. This 1 Gbps network cards we can add up to 32 NICs for a single ESX. Suppose if you are adding a 10 Gbps NIC, this 10 Gbps 10 Gbps NICs we can add maximum 16 network cards. Okay, so why we need to add this many network cards in the real time means to distribute all your virtual machine traffic, we need a multiple physical NIC cards. So here now you know what is NIC. It's a network interface cards. Okay, and even 20 GB NIC cards also we can add maximum 16. And similarly they given 25 GB, 50 GB, 100 GB, 40 GB. So it depends on your customer requirement. You can use the whatever speed you want. You can procure those physical high speed NICs and you can connect to the ESX box. Okay, just scroll down, we'll look for a virtual switch also. See, when we see here, vSphere standard and distributed switch, total virtual network switch ports per host. See, per network host, how many maximum we can add? This is the maximum. vSphere standard and distributed both. Anything if you choose, this is the maximum. The total virtual network switch ports per each host, how many switch ports we can add is this is the maximum switch ports. That means 4,900 and 4,096 connections it will able to provide the ports. And also the how many maximum active ports within this 4096 they are giving the limitation is maximum active ports are 1016. Okay, 1016. So normally no one will use this many switch. And also the port groups, how many port groups we can create within the standard switch? We can create maximum port groups 512. Here port to group means generally port means one port. Port to group means grouping of multiple ports. Grouping of multiple ports is nothing but a port group. Within one virtual switch we can create 512 port groups. Okay, so this is the maximums. Normally you can go through when you get the spare time, just go to this configuration maximum and refer. This maximums normally it will useful when you are attending a VMware certification exam. During the exam only they will ask these questions, or else in the interviews also we can expect the questions. Other than that, we no need to remember these maximums. Okay, so let's back to our ESX host client. Okay, we created the vSwitch one. Same way, if you want create one more switch, just click on add standard switch, same method, vSwitch 2, and use the default options, no modifications, click on add. Okay, so hope you understand how to create a virtual switch, and later I will show you how we can establish the connection through new switches. Okay, let's go back to our slide. So we observed the basic requirements to form a network. We observed what is a network card, and the media. We verified the wireless connection and network devices. We verified the physical switch. Physical switch we just discussed, but we verified the virtual switch. And the protocol also we verified one of the protocol on our virtual switch protocol name is CDP, Cisco Discovery Protocol. Okay, and the IP address, even IP address also we observed when we type on a system either physical server or virtual machine. If it is a Windows flavor, we can type ipconfig to verify the IP address. Suppose if you want to verify from the Linux operating system, Macintosh, Solaris and ESX server, the command to verify IP address is ifconfig. Okay, so this is the basic requirement to form a network. This NIC points also we verified, and the cables also we verified. This is a two examples I given. When you change the category of the cable number, the obviously the speeds also will vary. And the networking devices. So router, just understand the router concept, why in which scenario we use the router. This router concept is like a bit advanced concept in networking. We can discuss when we are discussing about the VMware network virtualization concept, which is NSX. In NSX only we'll have a router. Normally in the physically we call it as physical router. When comes to the network virtualization in NSX, the router we call it as a DLR. DLR means distributed logical router. But the concept how the router is working in a physical environment, same functionality in a network virtualization environment. Almost the concept is same, only the terminology is changed. When we are in the physical, we call it as router, but when it comes to the network virtualization in NSX, we call the router as a DLR. I repeat, DLR full form is distributed logical router. But before learning the DLR, we should have some basic idea what is a normal physical router, how the physical router is working. Similar functionalities we find in a virtual router also. Okay, and the firewall also we can use in a offices. There is a separate devices for firewall devices. We can use either a software device firewall we can use, or physical device firewall also can use. There are two methods available. For example, if I want to use a software firewall, Sophos also one of the firewall we can use. Sophos is a vendor name, they will provide the software firewall. Or we can use Semantic also will provide the software firewalls, or we can use a physical firewall device as well. But physical device firewall or software device firewall, the only purpose of firewall is it will allow only the authorized users access. If there is any unauthorized access trying to access our office system, immediately it will deny the connection access. And if it is authorized connection, then only it will allow the access. That is the purpose of firewall. This is in a physical scenario. When comes to the virtualization, in virtualization, there is a network virtualization product. The product same like ESX, a network virtualization product name is NSX. Only instead of letter E, they added NSX. NSX is a ESX is a server virtualization product. NSX is a network virtualization product. Within the NSX virtualization, network virtualization concept, we can see a virtual firewall. That virtual firewall name is DFW. DFW means distributed firewall. Okay, so these concepts we'll discuss when we are discussing about the NSX. Okay, just understand what is the differences in physical firewall and also in the virtual firewall. Only the terminology is different, but the concept is almost same. Now let's talk about the networking protocols. When comes to the protocol is nothing but it's a set of rules. It's used to communicate between source and destination and vice versa. Even now we are discussing means we are talking using a language. I'm using the English language to communicate with you. Same way, the systems also, if you want to communicate from one system to another system, the system can be a computer, server, virtual machine, anything. It's trying to access the other system. Other system can be any of the device, network device or printer, any of the device. In order to establish the communication, it requires a protocol. Okay. The language devices used to talk each other or the set of rules used to communicate between source and destination, vice versa. So I given few examples of protocols. One of the example is IP, Internet Protocol, the language of Internet and home networks. So normally in our home workstation, either a laptop, desktop, all-in-one system or server, it always required a protocol address in IP address. That is the name itself IP means it's a Internet Protocol. And also to communicate between the workstations also we need a TCP IP. So TCP means transmission control protocol. The description for TCP is it's provided a it will acknowledge when we transfer the any information. The same point they mentioned here, like signing the receipt for data delivery and guaranteed delivery. There will be a acknowledgement when we are using a TCP. When comes to UDP full form is user datagram protocol, but when in the UDP there is no acknowledgement on recipient of data. That is only the difference from TCP and UDP. And normally TCP we used in the wire communications like LAN communications. When comes to the VDP, we'll use in a WAN communications. WAN communication means wide area networks. Like we can I given a example, say the streaming media or else the wireless communications also will use the UDP, user datagram protocol. And there is another protocols like HTTP, HTTPS. We have two types of protocols. When you use HTTP means hypertext transfer protocol. When you add the letter S means secure. Hypertext transfer protocol, secure protocol. But normally the recommendation to use in the office network is secure protocol only. This secure protocol purpose is used to make display web page requests and download the web pages over TCP IP. See, example I given as a vSphere host client. Just now we verified in order to access our ESXi host. If you see in the top, we are using the protocol is HTTP protocol. See here we are using HTTPS protocol. Okay. Okay. Let me close the documentation. So we have the 71 first and 72. I'm just closing the document. When you get the spare time, you just go through this configuration maximum document. Either you can see from browser or you can export it to PDF. Okay, so we have an idea on HTTP. HTTP means we are using a vSphere host client. Similarly, any of the website also we are accessing using HTTPS protocol. Like even Google website, HTTP, when you type google.com, by default it will use the protocol is HTTPS. And similarly, there are other protocol FTP. FTP means file transfer protocol. If you add the letter S in front, it's like a secure file transfer protocol. And secure file transfer protocol also used to transfer the files between computers on the internet or within a network over a TCP IP. So I given the example one of the FTP and SFTP site, that is VMware FTP and VMware SFTP. Suppose go back to our server system. Let me in the Google, you can just type the command and type the keyword VMware FTP site. When you type VMware FTP site, this is the VMware FTP site. Normally, why we use VMware FTP site is in case of your ESXi server having some issue. To analyze the logs, we need to raise a support request to VMware. While when we raise a request to the VMware technical support team will ask you to export the ESX logs. So that logs information we will share it to VMware using this website. Either you can use VMware FTP site or you can use a SFTP site. SFTP site also same. Just in the Google you type VMware SFTP, you will find the secure data transfer site. So best way is instead of going to the FTP, always use the SFTP site. This SFTP site default ID is inbound and password also same inbound. When you type inbound, you log into the VMware SFTP site. See this SFTP site here, they clearly mention that enter valid support request number. When you raise a support request number, you can enter your support request number and upload the logs here. So how to export the ESX logs? Yesterday we discussed how to export the ESX host log. Just select your ESX host. You can go to the actions. We'll find generate export bundle. This is the way we can export the bundle, and this bundle, once we download it, log into the VMware SFTP site and upload. Okay, so we verified the example for SFTP, how the SFTP protocol is used. This is also used for your websites. Excuse me. And similarly, there are some other protocols like SSH, SMS, SMTP. There are so many protocols. SSH means secure shell, SMS for messaging protocol. SMTP means simple mail transfer protocol. For sending the emails, we require a backend protocol is SMTP. Okay? So this is about the basic information of networking protocols. So always we require a protocol in order to establish a communication from source to destination or destination to source. The next one is IP addressing. This IP addressing, it's a IP addressing is completely it may take around 1 hour concept. So I will continue the IP address in a next session. So but remember that IP address, we have a two types of IP address, IP version 4 and IP version 6. These two versions, most of the companies still using the IP version 4. Only few companies only move to the IP version v6. But in our next class, I will explain you the IP version 4 in detail. Even in our system, if you see our lab system, we are using the IP addresses 192.168. What is this IP? How we find this IP address and all in detail, I will explain you in the tomorrow's session. Okay, and that's why I keep it blank this page. And let me show you the another VMware ESX standard switch architecture quickly, but I won't explain in detail now. Just to see, this is a 2 ESX host architecture. If you see the diagram, on the left side, we have a ESX1, and the right side, we have a ESX2. Just try to understand how the vSphere standard switch architecture. Okay, but in detail, again, after our IP address concept, I will explain one more time. If you see in this diagram, don't confuse, there will be so many lines and so many boxes. If let's start discussing from the bottom. If you see in the bottom, there is a blue color line. They mention that physical switch. So if you have a 2 ESXi host, that 2 ESXi host require a switch connection. So they connected to one physical switch, and each physical switch have a multiple ports. So in this diagram, how many ports we have? Totally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So totally 6 ports are available on this physical switch. So these 6 ports, how they connected is, if you see here, this is our ESXi box. This ESXi box also have a 3 NIC cards: VMNIC 0, VMNIC 1, and VMNIC 3. And when comes to the second one also, there is a VMNIC 0, VMNIC 1, VMNIC 3. And they mention this NIC cards as a physical network adapters. But physical network adapter, when comes to in a ESX environment, the naming convention will change to VMNIC. VMNIC means virtual machine NIC 0, NIC 1, NIC 3. NIC 1 means a network interface card 1, network interface card 3. Either you can use a network interface card 2 or 3. This number is any sequence also fine, no issues. But observe that each ESX host have a 3 NIC cards. Left side ESX1 have 3 NICs, and right side ESX2 also have 3 NICs. And this 3 NICs, it's connected to the ESX box. But when we are using in ESX level, the same NIC level NIC card terminology, we call it as a uplink. Uplink port 0, uplink port 1, uplink port 2. Because we have a 3 NICs. 3 NICs means it's start from letter 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3 numbers. So that means totally 3 uplinks. Same uplinks in a ESX2 also. ESX2 also we can see uplink 0, uplink port 1, uplink port 2. So the VMNIC 0, another name, we can also call it as a uplink. Even if you see the icon for this uplink, same like a our physical switch RJ45 port, the same port we have in a ESX level. So that means how we are connecting from ESX to physical switches, we need a one LAN cable to connect the cable from uplink 0 to here the physical switch connection. The same line is connected directly here. And same way ESX2 also connected here, ESX3 also connected here. Okay, so until the green box uplink port group, we understand. Let's talk about the left side ESX1 first. Within the ESX1, we have a multiple virtual machines created. These virtual machines, to manage this all the virtual machine traffic, they divided a multiple port groups. So this is a port groups information. See, they created one port group for management traffic, and one port group for a vMotion traffic, and one for a test VMs access, and one for a production VM access. Systematically, they segregated the port groups. See, they given that all this blue color information is port groups. Whatever they divided here, same way they divided for ESX2 also. One port group dedicated for production, one port group dedicated for test, and another port group for vMotion. vMotion and all, I will explain clearly again, and just understand how they segregated the port groups. Within this switch port, they segregated 4 port groups. And just now we observed each virtual switch, it supported maximum active ports up to 1,000 ports. So within these 1,000 ports, we can divide multiple groups. So when we group a one port group, that port group you can configure based on your convenience. So in this diagram, they says that they divided into 4 port groups. One port group dedicated for management traffic, and another port group dedicated for vMotion traffic. Here I will tell you what is vMotion means. If you want to move your virtual machine from one ESX host to another ESX host, we need a one dedicated network connection that is called vMotion traffic. So when we want to move this virtual machine from ESX1 to ESX2, it will migrate through this network and come to here, and again come to this switch, it will migrate to here. Okay, so how the connects, it will migrate from source to destination, we'll have a separate class for that. And when we see in this diagram, we have 4 virtual machines. 2 virtual machines connected to test port group, and 2 virtual machine connected to production port group. Normally in the real-time scenario, all our production servers, they divided into 2 servers, two categories. One server is test server, one category is test servers, one category is production servers. Why we need a 2 categories, test server and production server, means when we want to do any changes on a production server, the recommendation is first we can do the test on a test server. If your test is success, the same procedure you can apply on a production server. So this is like our pilot mission. Whenever you want to do any changes on production server in the real-time scenario, it's not recommended to do directly on a production server change. First, you can test in your test environment whether whatever change you want to do. For example, my virtual machine is currently running with only single network card. Even in the diagram, you can see each VM have one network card only. In future, if you want to add a second NIC on your production, before adding the second NIC on production, just to test on your test VM. While we are adding a second NIC, is there any impact on the production VM? If there is no impact, the same procedure you can apply on a production VM. That is the standard practice in the real-time scenarios. So hope you understand the connections now. And also see these lines and all represents as a network production communication. And this each VM have one NIC code. That NIC code we call it as a VNIC. VNIC means virtual network interface code. Okay, so this is the complete standard switch architecture, but don't confuse. Normally in a physical system communication, we are using a physical switch. Same way for all your virtual communication, we are using a virtual switch. That is only the difference. Almost the concept is same like physical and virtual. Naming convention only different. In our physical network, we are, in order to group your physical system, one network, let's say my physical system have a 16 ports. Within the 16 ports, I want to make it group into a multiple ports. In order to group your network in your switch, we are creating a virtual LAN, that is called in short form VLAN. VLAN means virtual LAN. Virtual LAN means we are grouping a multiple ports on a physical layer. But when comes to the ESX level, instead of VLAN concept, we have the concept called port to group. Port to group means virtual ports we are making into a group. Okay, we will also do the lab for this. So demo today, we observed the very basic demo. We observed physical networking, how to verify the IP address, and how to verify the MAC address, how to verify MAC address is nothing but a physical address. And also we verified the network card speed. So some very basic fundamentals we verified today. And in our ESX host networking, we just observed up to the vSwitch creation. So network port group creation, VM kernel port group creation, and navigation. These three will continue tomorrow after the IP address concept. Okay, once we discuss the IP address concept, it's easier to understand the ESX port group concept as well as VM kernel port group concept. So that's it for today. Please let me know if you have any questions on the today's discussion points. If there is no questions, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, thanks for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.